Hi everyone, Christy here with another episode of Dog Training at the Kitchen Table, and I want to talk about canines in the community. So, I used to work at an animal shelter, the Animal Protective Association of Missouri. It was the best 4 years of my life. I had an exceptional boss, and during my time there, he taught me two very, very valuable lessons that I hang on to still to this day. One of those lessons was, just because someone doesn't raise their dog the same way you do, doesn't mean that they're not still a good home. And when we're placing dogs into homes, we need to consider that they may not be great, and they don't need to be great. They just need to be good. We're going to come back to that. The second lesson was that dogs did not just get placed into homes, that they got placed into communities. And we were always asked as shelter staff to ask ourselves, would we want to live next door to this dog? So if we had a people-aggressive dog, we would have to consider, what if our children had to live next door to this dog? Would we feel safe? If it was a dog-aggressive dog, would we feel safe letting our own dogs into the backyard with that dog in their backyard? Would we feel safe living next door to that dog? It's a very important question to ask ourselves. My issue with the first lesson, that we're not looking for great homes, we're looking for good homes, is that what constitutes a good home right now is providing food, water, shelter, and vet care. That is the bare minimum of what's considered to be a good home. And I think that needs to change. So I live next door to 3 dogs right now. They are dogs that I do not want to live next door to. If they were at the shelter, I'd be saying, nope, don't want to live next door to them. They are living in what is legally considered a good home. They're allowed to come inside, so they're provided shelter. They're obviously provided food and water because they're still alive, and I am assuming that they're provided vet care. They're a good home. But they are horrible dogs to live next door to. Last spring, my husband and I had to put up a privacy fence because they could get under and over our chain link fence and they would attack our dogs. They would attack our other neighbor's dog through our chain link fence. They dove out of a window to get to the neighbor's mastiffs that used to live next door. They have since moved. They are literally causing physical harm to themselves in order to cause physical harm to others. These are not dogs you want to live next door to, but they're still in a good home. But if we were to change the dialogue and we were to begin to insist that dogs go to great homes and not just good homes. We're not settling for the bare minimum here. But these dogs were to go to great homes. We would see them walked daily. And if that means that they're walked muzzled, they have to get walked at odd times so they don't encounter other people, then that's what it means. If they were in a great home, they would be with somebody who acknowledges, recognizes, and cares that their dog poses a serious threat to the community, to the people living around them. If they were in a great home, they would be fed premium diets and be given solid training and discipline. If they were in a great home, I would love to live next door to them. So that's a hard and tricky question to ask yourself and answer. Would I want to live next door to that dog? And it all comes down to, are they in a good home or are they in a great home? It makes a big difference whether or not I would want to live next door to that dog. I think that it's really time for shelters, breeders, rescues, anyone who is in charge of placing animals into homes to hold buyers and adopters to a higher standard. Is this person going to provide the right kind of fencing to keep their dog contained? Is this owner going to provide the correct amount of exercise, the right type of exercise for the type of dog that they're taking home? Are they going to have daily disciplines that require impulse control and make the dog think? Or are they going to allow their dogs to run amok? It's extremely important that we start to look at homes as being the best that they can be and not just providing the bare minimum. This might also mean that shelters and rescues have competent trainers on staff that can provide training before the animals are adopted? Is the person who wants to adopt this dog truly going to work out for him or her? Or are they going to go home and provide just the bare minimum? I do think that as a society, though, because this doesn't just fall on rescues and shelters, doesn't just fall on breeders, this really falls on owners. And as a society, being 2018, how we have not put a higher standard on what it means to be a good dog owner is pretty outrageous to me. The fact that the bare minimum is food, water, shelter, and vet care, and that is all you have to do to be considered a good home, is pretty ridiculous. So I think as a society, we need to change our mind about what constitutes a good home. And that should mean daily walks, daily mental and physical enrichment. That should mean just getting up and playing with your dog and enjoying some time with them. We need to change what constitutes a good home.